Here's the problem. 529 college funding plans are tax-exempt savings plans, authorized by Section 529 of the Internal Revenue Code. But there are 4 drawbacks to 529 plans. 1. They count against the student's eligibility when applying for financial aid. 2. They have tax consequences if the money is not used for qualified expenses. 3. They charge administrative fees and investment expenses that significantly reduce the growth of your money. And 4. They can actually lose money because the mutual funds in which the money is invested are subject to market risk and performance volatility. For example, during the last decade, the 10-year period from 2000 to 2010, the S&P 500 stock index, which tracks the equities used in 529 mutual funds, increased in 6 of those years and decreased in 4. But the result was a net loss of 9%. So if you had been saving for college expenses with a $10,000 investment in the S&P 500 on January 1st of 2000, you would have had only $9,100 to pay for college expenses 10 years later on January 1st of 2010. What's more, the fees and expenses charged on 529 plans can further reduce the growth of your savings. In fact, according to the Securities and Exchange Commission, it is important to understand the fees and expenses associated with 529 plans because they lower your returns. Because most 529 plans charge enrollment fees, maintenance fees, and management fees, which can reduce the growth rate on your savings by as much as 2 or 3% every year. For example, if your 529 mutual fund were to earn 10% in 1 year, the actual growth rate could be only 7 or 8% after fees and expenses. And in years when your 529 mutual fund loses value, it would still charge the same fees and expenses. It's also important to know that you can only use 529 money for eligible college expenses, such as tuition, room and board, and only at an accredited school in the United States. So if your child should receive a full scholarship, or choose a foreign university or a technical training school, or simply decide not to go to college, your withdrawals from a 529 plan would no longer be tax-exempt. What's more, the money in a 529 plan can reduce the amount of financial aid a student may qualify for by 5.6%. So how can you save for a child's college education without taxation, without the risk of losing your money, without limitations on how you use the money, and without counting against your financial aid eligibility? With a 7702 college funding insurance contract, so called because it is subject to Section 7702 and Section 72E of the Internal Revenue Code, which allow you to earn interest on your savings without taxation, and also allow you to use the money any way you want, without any limitations or restrictions, through tax-free loans, guaranteed in the contract. But unlike a 529 plan, a 7702 college funding insurance contract also guarantees that you cannot lose any of your money in mutual funds. What's more, the money in a college funding insurance contract does not count against the student's financial aid qualification. So ask yourself this. Now that you know the 4 major drawbacks to a 529 plan, does it still make good sense? Or does it make better sense to save, grow, and protect your college education money with a 7702 college funding insurance contract? A contract that also gives you tax-exempt growth on your money and tax-exempt access to your money for any purpose, even if you don't use the money for eligible expenses, and all without the risk of mutual fund losses you get with a 529 plan?